Welcome to Sudbury Sports Unbiased, your source for no-spin coverage on the Sudbury Wolves, Sudbury 5, Sudbury Cyclones, and Sudbury Cubs. Hello, sports fans. Craig here, and this morning we have a special guest, the head coach of the Sudbury Cyclones, Giuseppe Politi. Giuseppe, welcome to our channel and welcome to the show.
Morning. Thanks for having me.
Listen, total pleasure. So we're going to do two spins with you today. This is what we call the first game of a doubleheader if we were going to use baseball parlance. So in the first game, we're going to talk about the Cyclones, and then we're going to talk about Canada's group at the World Cup. So that's what we're going to do this morning, and this afternoon, we are going to do the other groups in the World Cup. It'll be rapid fire, but should be a lot of fun. Let's start with the Cyclones. Moved up to League One, which is the Premier Division. And tell me about the off-season. Were there any changes or transitions from League Two to League One?
I think once we were promoted from OPL 2 to OPL 1, Evan and I discussed trying to improve the roster because we needed to meet the higher level of play. So we have about, I'd say, 30 to 40% new players. We did some recruiting, trying to offer players in OPL 2 last year an opportunity to play in OPL 1 this year. So we made some offers, did some recruiting, and here we are in Ontario's top flight. I'm struggling a little bit, but competing very, very, very well. We are right there. A little bit of, let's say, unlucky bounces. You talk about the off season. It was tough to get players to move in on time because of the Sudbury 5 and how well they did. And then you have the dome collapsing, so we had really no facility to train in. We made a couple trips to North Bay, and even on top of that, we couldn't even get on to James Jerome before our first game. So there was a lot of juggling going on, but as true Northerners, we persevere. We make the best of what we can, and now we're about a month into the season. The results are probably short of expectations, but I think overall guys are positive and know that we belong in this league. So our job right now is to dig ourselves out of this little hole and avoid relegation at all costs.
Sure. So there's a lot to unpack in your response. So we're going to take a couple of those one by one. We had the big snowstorm back in March, and I think that was the key off-season development, which was unfortunate. But how did you deal with that? I mean, from what I understand, there were people coming in for the team from all over Ontario, and people were moving hither and yon. How did you deal with that, and how did you train? I'm curious.
Well, to be honest, there were only a couple realistic options. One, it was we couldn't train together unless we went to North Bay. So I think we made at least 2 to 3 trips to North Bay because they have a facility at Canadore. And then otherwise, it was encouraging guys to train in their own home environment, whether they were at a post-secondary institution or with a club down south, wherever they're coming from. We really didn't have the right preparation for a team of this caliber. Going into that Hamilton game, the Cup game where we started our season back in, I don't know if it was April the 10th or the 12th or whatever it was, like we were the most unprepared we've ever been, whether at Cyclones or honestly almost any soccer venture I've been a part of because of this whole situation with no training facility.
And the crazy part of that, you won that game 1-0.
Yeah, and deservedly so. I mean, at the end of the day, it was based on, the quality of players. It's not like these boys, these young men forget and lose all their talent. It's just, the whole team chemistry and working together, that stuff wasn't able to be developed for weeks until we can actually get into a normal training regimen here in Sudbury. And, even with the dome being unavailable, we still couldn't even get on the outdoor turf here in Sudbury at James Jerome because it just wasn't open. The city wouldn't open the field because of how harsh the winter was.
Yeah. So how much was your training impacted? I mean, my sense of it was that you were about a month behind the other teams in terms of preparation and in terms of being ready for the season. Is that accurate?
I think that is probably even on the low end. I would say teams are probably 8 weeks plus ahead of us. So 1 month being 4 weeks, I think we were probably 2 months behind other teams, with the exception of obviously other teams will have players coming back from their universities, from wherever they are across Canada and the US, so on and so forth. But we were certainly behind, and it showed because we were just, I hate to use the word rusty, but we were just not sharp in a lot of the first few games, players making uncharacteristic mistakes or whatever the case was, because they weren't comfortable.
No.
Now things have settled in and they're performing well. The only thing we're missing is just a little bit of luck and a little bit of results. So I find last year we were able to, hold off and get the draw. And we drew a lot of games last year, and it ended up leading to our promotion. Whereas this year, even look at our last game, we probably should have drawn at worst case and, conceded in the 90th minute off an error. So we're hoping we can resolve these issues. We have a tough 7 days coming up with 3 road games. So we're going to do about 2,500 kilometers in 7 days. So it's going to be a challenge for these boys, and there's going to be a lot of rotation in the lineup to keep people healthy.
I asked you this last year when the team went from level 3 to League 2. I asked you about the difference in play. I'm going to ask the same question this year, moving from OPL 2 to OPL 1. What's the difference in play? It seems quite a big difference this year.
Yeah, I mean, probably it's twofold. One, the overall quality, the quality of the opponent's coaching, the quality of the technical ability of the players, their ability to do things, whether it's not give the ball away, produce great crosses, finish. The overall quality of play is higher, and the margins are even thinner. So if you make a mistake, you're more likely to get punished in OPL 1 than you are in OPL 2 or OPL 3. If that makes sense. You have to be on your game at all times, because one moment can change things so quickly. Whereas in maybe the other tiers, the last couple of years in 2024 and 2025, players could make certain mistakes on the field but just whatever. You don't get punished. It doesn't really change the outcome of the match. Whereas in OPL 1, it's that razor thin.
Yes, I've noticed that, especially the last game when we played North Toronto. They didn't have that many chances, but unfortunately for the Cyclones, they cashed in when they had their opportunities.
That's as frustrating it is. I mean, we had a great first half and opening to the match. We went up 1-0 deservedly. We had a great chance to make it 2-0, and I wouldn't say that puts the game to bed, but it certainly puts you in the driver's seat. Didn't score and conceded off a deflection, go into half 1-1. The guys were a bit down, generated more chances, and then towards the end there was some card trouble. I had to make some subs, and all of a sudden, we make a mistake in our own defensive third and you get punished, and then you run out of time. So I'm hoping that we can turn this around, because I truly believe this group is good enough to remain in OPL 1. By no means am I, my staff, or the organization delusional. We did not go into OPL 1 saying we're going to win this thing. It's unrealistic to think that at this time. It was realistic to be, hopefully a mid-pack team, keeping scores close, battling every game, putting a good product on the field, and showing that Sudbury can compete in this environment.
The good news is you've had a meteoric rise, so I give the organization, yourself and Evan Phillips, a tremendous amount of credit for putting a really quality product on the field.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I just wanted to ask the boys, now they're settled in, how do you find the boys? Are they happy here? Is there a good team camaraderie? What do you expect going forward with this group?
I mean, I think it is always a challenge, right? We're asking the vast majority of the team to move from a high population center like the GTA or Ottawa to come to Sudbury and spend 4 months here and play. We have done some good team building activities. The guys mesh, they get along well, they hang out after work, so on and so forth. The only thing missing to keep everybody's spirits up is a little bit more of positive results. The last 2 years, Cyclones have been very, very successful, and when you're winning cures just about everything. So we are, as a team, players, staff, facing a little bit of adversity, because we're not getting the results that we should be getting. And hopefully we can start turning the tide this upcoming weekend on the road at Unionville.
It's something that the team hasn't faced. Adversity just hasn't come in the first couple of years. I mean, that's credit to you guys. But this year it seems to be a different story. But how about going on the road? I want to know something about that. Playing here, I'm sure, is very pleasurable for the boys. It's easier for you. What's it like playing and taking a team on the road, especially in these circumstances?
Well, I mean, it is tough. Let's be quite transparent. This whole Cyclones project only works if the budget works. So, same day travel is not ideal. We're logging 400 kilometers. just to get to the game, and you don't stay overnight. You come back right away, so it takes its toll on the body. No other team in this OPL 1 does as much travel as we do, so we're already behind the 8 ball in that regard. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. If you want to compete in OPL 1 and you live in Sudbury or based in Sudbury, we have no choice but to travel. Every other team, they'll only come to Sudbury once. So, they're going to do that 800-kilometer return trip once, whereas we have to do it 11 times because we have 11 away games. So travel can be tough, but at the end of the day, we can't use it as an excuse. We try to, we feed the players, we let them sleep on the bus, we arrive early, try to do a team walk. It is what it is. There's not much else. It's not ideal, but it's the only way to do it.
As you indicated, you're coming into a bit of a tough road stretch coming up. And what about midweek games? That seems to be particularly difficult. I know that not this week, but the week after, you're going to have a 8:30 game, I believe, in some location. And then you've got to get yourself ready for a game 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah. So, the next 10 days, including today, but let's say Saturday, we play at 8:30 in Unionville. So we'll be back returning Sunday morning at who knows what hour. And then Wednesday, we have a 9 o'clock in Woodbridge. And again, Thursday morning, arriving at, who knows, 4 or 5 in the morning. And then again, Saturday away at North Toronto. So like I said, you're looking at 800 kilometers return trip 3 times in 7 days. That's really tough on the body. Your sleep cycle's messed up. It's not the best recovery to play a 90-minute match and then go sit in a bus. So as a staff, we're planning on rotation of players, having realistic expectations of what our players can do. We might even be calling up some people from the OPL 3 team to give us some support because there's a lot of a toll on the body. So it's kind of we call it load management. We're going to pick our moments, be realistic, have conversations with players, and they're going to know going into the game, like, you're only going to get 45 minutes because we have to manage this. It's like a storm. It's a soccer storm. Too much all at once. And again, these are, as much as we call it semi-professional, they are not professional athletes where their only job is to play soccer. These guys have summer jobs. So, they might have to report to work on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock on what, 2 to 3 hours rest? That's not normal, and it takes its toll in the longer term. You might survive that day, but you're going to be tired for the next couple of days, and all of a sudden you got to run into another soccer game. So there's a lot of juggling. There's a lot of challenges that people might not understand, and midweek games are very tough when you live in a isolated geographic spot like we are here in Sudbury.
Well, I can say it's good that they're young because we're not as young as we used to be, but it's got to be tough on the coaching staff too.
Yes, it is. For us that travel, we're obviously have to make arrangements at work using our personal time and whatever else, flex schedules that some of us have. So it's not easy, but like I said, if you want to be a part of OPL, you know what you're signing up for. We have 2 away games midweek. One is in June, like I said, in Woodbridge next week. And then I think we're in July, we have to go to Barrie. So it's maybe a slightly closer. As a teacher, I can benefit from that because I don't need to report to school the next morning. But like I said, it is tough on the players, and people think, oh, you just recover in one day. It's not the case. Good athletes, high performance athletes need rest to regenerate, recuperate, reset, and they're not getting that 8 hours of uninterrupted normal sleep. Sleeping on a bus is interrupted and not normal. So it takes its toll on the body. Like I said, I'm basically reiterating the same things. It's a challenge, but it is what it is. We have to deal with it. And if we want to be part of OPL 1, this is just the way it's going to be.
Dealing with the other teams, how do you scout them? Do you have video? How does that work?
Yeah, certainly. So Evan Phillips, who's, general manager and assistant coach, has done a fantastic job. He loves his stats. He loves his video analysis, which is great because it's a lot to operate and manage a group of 24 and train them, prepare them. So that's his sort of area. Weekly sessions, we do video where we basically have 2 perspectives. One, we look at ourselves. What have we done recently? Strengths, weaknesses, things like that. And then we also get a scouting report on the upcoming opponent. So we spend 30, 40, 45 minutes weekly looking at, what are the tendencies, who are the key players, what are the weaknesses of our opponents. And then we try to obviously look at some of the footage from our games and what went well and what didn't go so well. So yes, video analysis at this level is a no-brainer.
It sounds like it's a lot of work. It sounds like for you, it's a second full-time job.
That's an understatement. Soccer is, it's very busy, but I mean, we love the game, and that's why we do it.
Well, we appreciate you sharing some insights with you, and we'll have you on throughout the year. And I just wish you well. And I know the Cyclones are going to turn it around. They're going to get some wins together, and you're going to be at least a mid-pack team. And anybody who thinks the Cyclones are going to be pushovers, I think they're going to get a different circumstance in the second half of the season.
That's our objective. We're about 8 games in, so after this 3-game stretch, that'll be about halfway. We'll have a team meeting, as is normal course in this type of environment. You have a preseason meeting, a midseason meeting, and obviously some sort of conclusion. But at that midseason meeting, we're going to talk about realistic objectives so that we finish the season as best we can and stay in OPL 1.
We wish you well. We're going to turn to a different topic, and that is the topic in soccer these days, and it's the World Cup. And I understand you're a very fortunate man because you're going to be in attendance on Friday afternoon when Canada takes on Bosnia-Herzogovina in Toronto. And I just wish I was in your shoes, but congratulations for getting tickets.
I'm quite fortunate where I was able to get my hand on 2 tickets at a very expensive price, but this is something that happens once in a lifetime. Original plan was to see Italy, Canada there. It is what it is, but we're going to be supporting the red team on Friday, and I really think they can do this. Bosnia, is a decent opponent, but I think Canada can, at worst case, a draw, but can win this.
The way I look at the situation, Giuseppe, is this. I think that the Canada Bosnia Herzegovina game is the big game for Canada in this group. If they can get a result, at least a draw, but hopefully a win, I think that could be a springboard for the entire group stage.
I agree. I mean, just like you said, looking at the other games, I think everyone can agree that all the other teams, Bosnia, Switzerland, and Canada, are just looking to beat up on Qatar. Everybody's trying to bank their 3 points there. Canada is probably looking for at least a draw against Switzerland, so that makes this Bosnia game such a big deal. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is 5 points might be enough. So if you draw Bosnia, you draw Switzerland, and you get the win against Qatar, because of the expanded format of this tournament, there will be a round of 32, which allows 8 of the best third place finishers in the group stage to advance. So there is ample opportunity for Canada to advance to the knockout stages.
I'm actually expecting they will advance to the knockout stage. I'll be tremendously disappointed. I'm sure you will, and many Canadians will be disappointed if they don't advance to the group stage. Put on your coaching hat for me. Canada has tons of injuries, particularly in the back line. And I wanted to know, with all these injuries, how does the back line work together? How do these injuries impact the back line and how it performs?
It's a great question. First of all, I mean, that is, to me, the biggest issue right now for Canada is the center back position. That's probably my biggest concern. I mean, I know Alfonso, he probably is not going to be ready for the first game, but he's on the outside left back, and I think it can be replaced. I mean, no one is Alfonso, but he can be replaced. That center back is probably the biggest issue for Canada. And given that Cornelius and was the other gentleman that plays center back?
DeFugero?
No, the other one. There's another one. Exactly.
Yes.
If those guys were healthy, we'd be set. They are returning from injury, and if I'm Jesse Marsh, I'm going to ask them to do the bare minimum. Just keep it simple and not put yourself at risk by doing anything beyond the basics of what he's looking for, whether that's defending or playing simple out of the back. Don't do anything crazy, because I think that's basically their weakest point. Canada has some pretty good dynamic players going forward on the wing and attack, even in central midfield. I think there's some good quality there, but at center back is probably the biggest issue right now.
Luke DeFugero played very well at the center back position in the last friendly. Is he a question mark in your mind, or do you think he can perform?
I mean, I think he'll get his chance. I hope he gets his chance. I hope he gets his chance because things are going well, and not because the other 2 center backs, first choice players, are injured or make really bad mistakes. I hope that Canada can get the results and at least advance one round. It's got to be the absolute objective. Anything after round of 32 is bonus.
One of the things that Canada's had some problems with is converting their chances. Against Ireland, they had plenty of chances to score. This team seems to generate a lot of chances in attack, has trouble putting them away. And I find that a lot of the teams are playing what we call a low block. Maybe you can explain what a low block is and why is Canada having trouble penetrating the low block?
Well, I mean, first of all, the low block. Low block is basically when a team sits deep in their own half. Often they can get 10 players, 8 players behind the ball. Maybe some of your viewers would understand it as parking the bus. So they kind of sit back, and the strategy is to frustrate the opponent, not exert yourself too much, waste time, manage time, and then, hopefully try to win the ball and generate something on the counter, right? Because you're leaving little space for the other team to penetrate, to expose you, so on and so forth. So generally, when you're playing a superior opponent, it's common for the inferior opponent to sit back and bunker or play a low block, a block being the shape of like rectangles. As for Canada, missing chances, I mean, it's always tough to break down low blocks because you have all these people in front of the net and you're trying to go in, around, or over them, and there's just not a lot of space. I thought in the friendly games, yes, Canada did miss chances. Frustratingly, I was looking at the screen. It was like I was looking at Cyclones. It's just like the chances are there. It's why can't the ball just go in the net? So let's hope for Canada that when it actually counts in the official matches starting on Friday, that they're able to put the ball in the back of the net. And it just relieves so much pressure because, in the exhibition matches, I found that, Canada would go forward, try to score, and then all of a sudden they'd be exposed on the counterattack. I know that Crépeau made one amazing save. I think it was against Ireland where Canada got caught, ball got swung in. I think the fullback totally missed it, and then the Irish player was there in alone. And hopefully that doesn't happen on Friday. They got to take their chances when they have them, and they cannot be susceptible to the counterattack.
My sense is that they're going to come out like gangbusters. I think you're going to see a really energetic first half, and I think in the Bosnia game particularly, if they can score early, I think that'll take a big weight off their shoulders. What do you think about that?
I would totally agree. I mean, I don't have the exact stat, but Canada is a younger team and a more quote unquote inexperienced team. You have all this hype. You're playing in a World Cup with reasonably high expectations on your own soil. If Canada scores early, that will get a lot of weight and that pressure off, right? There's going to be a lot of energy. There's going to be a lot of adrenaline. There's going to be a lot of stress on Friday in Toronto against Bosnia. They have enough to do it. It's just whether they go out and do it. So you're right. There's going to be how would you say it, like a mental aspect, the ability to control, even the emotional part of the game is going to be something that hopefully the Canadians can keep under control and deliver.
Let's talk about the goaltending. Jesse Marsh kept it an open competition between Crépeau and Dane St. Clair, finally selected Crépeau. Do you agree with the decision?
I agree. I think Crépeau is probably the safest option in goal. They're both good goalkeepers. They're both playing in MLS, decent clubs, had good seasons. I think it's the safe choice. And like I said, look at it the other way. If somebody makes a mistake, let's say Max Crépeau makes a mistake, you have a decent option if you want to change things in another match. But I think Jesse Marsh made the right choice declaring Max Crépeau the starting goalkeeper.
Give me your prediction, 1 through 4 in Group B. Who finishes first, second, third, and fourth?
Well, fourth, let's go that way. I think it's going to be Qatar.
I agree.
I think Bosnia will come in third. And then Canada, Switzerland is kind of like a coin toss. I mean, if I was betting money, I would probably say Switzerland comes first, Canada second, but my heart wants Canada to come first in the group and advance. At the end of the day, like I said, the simple objective for Jesse Marsh and his team and for our country is get to the round of 32. Anything after that is bonus. It'll really depend on who your opponent is. There's so many permutations of who's going to cross over with this and that. So let's just get to the round of 32 and then see what happens.
You got it. One thing I'll say about the Swiss, very dangerous offensive team. They can score goals. 27 goals in 11 games in qualifying. So Canada's going to have to play well defensively in that game.
Yeah, you might even see a different style. Jesse Marsh is... I've gone to some conferences where he speaks. You can see him in the media. He's very much about going after it, being on the front foot. which is good. I mean, it's exciting, and that's his style. But you might see a different Canada against Switzerland than you would against Bosnia or Qatar, and it would only make sense to make an adjustment.
I think there will be an adjustment in that game for a number of reasons. Standings, for one. Secondly, quality of opponent. I think Canada will have the ball a whole lot less against Switzerland than they'll probably have it against Qatar and Bosnia.
Agreed.
So I just wanted to get your thoughts on Group B. I appreciate your insights, and we're going to talk more about the groups later on today. I'm looking forward to that. I want to thank you for coming this morning, and I appreciate your time. And we'll look forward to our chat this afternoon.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me. It's lots of fun.
No problem. Thank you.